Alright guys, thanks for tuning in to part 3 of my 1989 laser LTV restoration project. Guys, check this out. This is the One Fast Coconut logo. Let you get a little peek. So some of you that come to the boat runs with me have already seen it. I sold some decals already, but I'm kind of getting like a soft unveil for it. This will kind of become like a studio for me with that as my background. I'm also wearing my shirts, and those are in pre-production right now, getting everything the way I want it, so that way when I finally release them, I am 100% happy with how they turned out. So thanks for tuning in. Let's get into part 3 of my restoration project. All right, let's jump into part 3. So as you can see, big old crack, some scratches there. So that is what you're gonna be seeing me tackle here coming up. And this first side that I'm showing you here has already been sanded with 80 grit. And I'll explain a little bit more as we go through why I chose 80 grit. You'll also see that I wet sanded it with 80 grit. And that was really just to try to help manage the dust, to try to keep the dust down as I was working. It was easier to do it with the water than to stop and vacuum every 10-15 minutes. This side has not been sanded at all. You can see the mildew on there. And up to this point, the bottom, everything you're looking at has not been touched. It was all just glass work inside the hull. As you can see, there was a weird water line right there where it looks like the boat had sat in the water or somewhere where the sun ate it up differently, and then you can see there where the hull kind of curves and it makes a shadowed area. The gel coat there was actually still in really nice shape, but the top cap was extremely sun whipped, so it needed paint anyways. So I'm just going to paint the whole boat. You can see here on the keel, wore it down into the glass, so that got built up pretty good. All in all, it took me about four rounds of filling, sanding it down, filling, sanding it down to get everything tip top. A little tip for you I did learn is that it saves you some time and is a little less work if you build everything up higher than you think it needs to be. Keep in mind, gel coat, or if you're going to use resin and Cavasola fill stuff like this, does shrink. It's faster to build it up higher than it needs to be and sand it down one time, is what I learned through this process. So you can see here I got the mixture on there, filled the scratches, areas like that, a couple I missed. Like I said, I had to go back about 4 times by the end of it. I got everything the way I wanted, which is as close to perfect as it could be, especially here in the running surface. Really took a lot of time. My dad helped me get everything nice and straight. Used a sanding board, 24-inch sanding board, to get the pad and everything as straight as possible. And the bottom was pretty beat up. If you're looking at a project boat, try to find it one as close to cosmetically perfect as you can. Even if it just needs resprayed, that's not as much work as like what I'm having to do here. Of filling and sanding really took a long time. Here we go. Moving on to the next part. So this was after the first round of sanding, you can see how I did not fill some of these enough. On this first side, I actually did not mix my gel coat mixture thick enough, and it ran a little on me, so I had to mix the next batch thicker. But I kind of knocked some of it down. See here on the pad, big difference. You can see some low spots though. Big difference already. At this point, I am still just using 80 grit to sand everything. Found 80 grit was just a nice grit to use. It didn't take everything down so quickly that I wound up over sanding it, but it didn't take forever either. And the other reason I wound up sanding the whole boat with 80 grit, just to get as much of the oxidized gel coat off in preparation to be primed. Which is the photo you're looking at here. I do apologize, I did not, or at least I could not find the video of once we got everything nice and straight and worked out, but as you can see here from this photo, huge difference as you look along lifting strakes and all the edges. You don't see the black gaps and chips anymore. Everything's nice and smooth and beautiful. At this point, the whole boat, like I said, has been sanded with 80 grit. You can see me back there with the paint gun in my hand, and we are fixing to spray primer. I used Feather Fill G2. It's like a filler primer because there was still some little scratches and things that I wanted to fill, and that's what it was supposed to do. I would say it did a fairly good job of that. And then I sanded that with 180 in preparation for my paint. So here's a picture of it painted. I did not film the painting process for two reasons. I did not want to get overspray on my GoPro, and I just wanted to focus on doing the best job painting I could since I've never painted before in my life. I wanted a maximum concentration that I could muster, and it turned out fairly good. I did get some runs, as to be expected. Even veteran painters will get runs from time to time. And it had a little orange peel from, as part of the learning experience, I needed a little more air pressure. That's all okay because we got it wet sanded and it is now nice and flat. Here's another angle. So the hull is going to be solid white as you see here. And then I've got something special for the deck cap, which will be painted soon. I used Acroglow paint. You can find it at Sherwin-Williams. You might have to go through a Sherwin-Williams, I think they call it an industrial supplier, and it's used for painting aircraft. And it's supposed to be able to withstand small impacts. Obviously, if you're going on aircraft, it's plenty durable for speed. A gentleman that recommended it to me has painted lots of boats with it, and I am pretty happy with it so far. All right, moving right along. While the hull was kind of curing, got to work on my deck. You can see I got my Kusa dashboard bonded in there on the bottom side of my console. And the main project for the deck cap is to fill in all these holes. It'll be rigged as a new boat essentially. So I filled every single hole and am starting back as if it was a new boat. So that was our project here. And you will see the process I used here in a second. To get that done, you can see all the screw holes on the top of the console. Every single hole in the deck got filled. Moving along. So what I did is I masking taped some, they call it cutting mat. And what that is it's like a plastic sheet essentially. Tape that to the backside, fill these in with Cabsil resin mixture and mill fiber. I used the smallest chop mill fiber there is, filled those in, and then put some glass on the backside. That's what you're seeing here. In the areas that are large enough for where somebody might step on it, which they shouldn't be stepping on the deck cap at all since it will have paint, I put extra glass on the backside, and as you can see, it made everything nice and flat, so I did not have to do much sanding. I would say 90% of the holes I was able to fill where the top side is nice and smooth, so it'll just need scuffed in preparation for primer. A few of them did have to I did have to sand on and fill a little more because they sagged. The weight of the Cabsil resin mixture actually sagged the plastic cutting sheet. I still think it made the process easier. There's another way you could do it, which is just to put your glass on your bottom side, flip your deck back over, cut out pieces of glass to go in the holes, and then skim the top with Cabsil resin mixture. And that would be a stronger repair, but like I said, no one should ever really step foot on the deck cap. So I wasn't really too worried about strength. And so that is it for part 3. In part 4, you will see us put the deck cap back on the hull and install the front casting deck. So that's a really fun video, a fun part of the project, because it's really bringing everything together, starting to look like a complete boat instead of just chopped up piece of random boat parts. And so hopefully I will be on the water soon. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys, everyone that has subscribed. We are almost to 6,000 subscribers. That is crazy. I know I've been kind of slow with the content lately.